guess what? You're missing memories. You're missing listening to people and actually building relationships and connecting with them. You need to realize that life is in session. This is not a dress rehearsal, means that you're living life right now. This moment that you're listening to me speak, you're living this moment.
Welcome to Give a Heck. I am your host, Dwight Heck, and for much of my life, lived my life in quiet desperation, wondering how I was going to pay the bills, take vacations, save for retirement, and one day wondering if I would get off the hamster wheel of life and have purpose. A life that most of society lives, which takes us to work, then home, then repeat, and pays us hopefully enough just to survive. The harsh truth that most live with more month than money and have no idea how to live life on purpose, not by accident. This ensures the mass majority are living not just financially broke, however emotionally and mentally as well due to financial pressures. In each episode, I will introduce you to thoughts, ideas, and guests that can help you to learn how you too can live life on purpose, not by accident.
Good day, and welcome to Give a Heck. On today's episode, it's going to be me, myself, and I discussing something that I just talk about with people consistently. I don't know, I'd have to say over the last probably close to 30 years, but it's really hit home more so in the last decade in my life. And that is life is in session. This is not a dress rehearsal. Yes, this life that we have is moving by fast. We don't realize it most days. We just take it for granted. All the things that we should be grateful for and have gratitude for. And the reason I talk about this is you realize that you only have a finite amount of days in your life and a finite amount of times that you can hang out with those that you love. And those that you love aren't just people, they sometimes can be animals. Recently, a week ago today, we had the unfortunate experience of having to put our animal, our dog, her name was Michaela, to sleep. Euthanasia. Why? She had severe health issues. She was shy of her 14th birthday, which is actually tomorrow, but had to make the decision that it's time for her. She's given us her all over the last 14 years, giving us her energy. But I had to sit back and reflect really up to the time of even it happening last Friday to today. I've done a lot of soul searching and thinking to myself, did I spend enough time with her? Did I do enough things with her? And we have all those things that race into our minds when it comes to hanging out with those we love. Again, whether it's an animal or a human being, the pain and suffering is tremendous. And how could we avoid that? Well, being present in the moment. When I say life is in session, this is not a dress rehearsal. Being present in the moment means you need to literally, every time you're around someone that you love or an animal that you love, you need to be present with them. If they want your attention, obviously humans or animals, we can't always give them it. There's just things that happen in our lives. But when you think about it, when you are present with them, how often are you actually present? Are you thinking about what you need to do next in your day, right? Or in that evening, let's say you're hanging out with family, you're thinking, oh, I got to do this before I go to bed. Yet that's like 3-4 hours later. And in that 4-hour time frame, you're really not present with your family. You're not really grateful for having that opportunity to create memories with them. And that's the same as with my own dog, my family, our family pet, 14 years, spent a lot of time with her, but was I truly present every time I was hanging out with her, or was I somewhere else? And I'm not saying we can be perfect. That's almost impossible. In life, we get distracted. Our mindset easily gets distracted by things that are around us, right? that shiny object syndrome where something shiny is off in the distance or even close by, and we're distracted by it and we forget what we're actually present doing at that moment. And it happens to all of us. I've had so many people pass in my life, and that word regret, I hate it, but it is so true. Do you have regrets about people that you've lost or animals that you've lost in your life? I know I've had it with many people in my life and realized, oh my gosh, you know what? Here's some harsh realization for you, those of you listening. If you see somebody that you love, whether it's a friend, family, maybe it's close family like your parents or your sisters or your brothers, how many times do you actually see them or have hung out with them? Think about the year 2022 and how many times did you see or hang out with them? Or if you want to go prior to the pandemic, think about prior to the pandemic. How often did you actually see your family or friends? Now, if you answer, well, I seen my parents 4 times last year. Think about it. You don't know what is going to happen with your parents. You don't know what's going to happen with your friends or those that you want to hang and spend time with and create memories. And you might only see them 4 more times. A tragedy could occur, and this isn't to be sad or depressing, but it's the harsh reality that we need to be present in our moment, because there's no promise for tomorrow. There's no promise that you're going to have another year or another 4 times to see that loved one or loved ones, right? It isn't necessarily something that you wanted to engulf in your mindset, but you want it to use it as something that keeps you present when you are around them, and be grateful and have gratitude for the ability to be with them and create memories so that you stay present in that moment. So let's say it's only 1 out of 4 times. The next year you were hoping to see him 4 times, a tragedy occurs, you only seen him once. Hopefully that one moment you are truly connected with that person or persons, or again, animals, doesn't matter what it is. Are you truly enjoying that moment? Are you present in that moment? Or are you always worried and thinking about what's going to happen moving forward? Or is your mind depressed and stuck in the past? I know I've spent a lot of time this last week in a depressive state thinking about that regret. Did I spend enough time with Michaela? Did I spend enough time giving her the best life possible? Even though everybody around me was telling me how great of a life she's had and how great of a life that we all afforded her and she afforded us, it still didn't change the fact that my mind was like, oh my gosh, I should have done this. I should have done that. Had many times where I was crying my butt off because I just was, like a wave of emotion overridden. Had the same pain and suffering when I lost my granddaughter in 2017. Horrible experience, grieved and thought to myself, I should have done more, et cetera, et cetera. And I can go on and on with the amount of people that have passed in my life. But it really hit home, though, when I lost Michaela, realizing that those that know me, I work out of my house for a long time now. Roughly the last couple decades, majority of my work hours have been spent in my home. And guess who was around me the last 14 years, every single day, who I'd have to let outside, who I'd spend time with when I could afford it, when I should have actually afforded more now that I think about it. But I tried my best, but she was around every single day. She'd be down beside me, for those watching on YouTube, right beside me here. She'd be laying in her little bed. And, it was comforting, especially during the pandemic, because it was just me, myself, and I, plus her. She was a big, resounding reason why I think I didn't go cuckoo over the pandemic, being locked up and not seeing people a lot. But regardless, back to the fact life is in session. This is not a dress rehearsal. We really have to decide on the daily when we wake up, are you grateful for the fact to have another day? Are you? I know I've had to practice that. These are things that you must work on and create a positive habit that when you open your eyes up, one of the first things you think is, you know what? Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to have another day. I'm God-fearing person, so I thank God for giving me a shot at another day. When I go to bed, I'm grateful for the opportunity to have been alive and for the things that have happened. Are my days perfect? Absolutely not. But for those that know me, I never have a bad day. I literally have suffered this week and I've had to work really hard every single day since we, said goodbye to our dog and she went across the Rainbow Bridge and, went up to heaven to play with my granddaughter and chase bunnies because that was my favorite thing my granddaughter loved. And bottom line, I wake up with gratitude. I go to sleep with gratitude. I practice gratitude throughout the day. And even the most trying days, especially a week ago today when we, you know, lost her, I've been struggling. So I've had to even work at it more. My point is that we, with living a life that's, on purpose, requires us to take energy, to be focused on the present moment, that this may be your only last present day. So did you enjoy your day the best you possibly could? Even if you have trials and tribulations, did you look at those trials and tribulations and focus on all the negativity of it? Did you reach out to somebody to help you snap out of it if you couldn't? Do you have different processes in your life that can help you snap out of those bad moments so that you never have a bad day? Right? Bad moments happen. Bad days are a choice, right? I'll say that again. Bad days are a choice. I coach and help people for a long time on how to live a life on purpose and not by accident. Guess what? I got to practice it myself consistently because it's so easy to fall backwards and get back into that consistent depressive state or anxiety where you're worried about tomorrow, right? Do you know the difference? As a quick note, depression is usually you're thinking about the past, anxiety, you're worrying about the future, right? And you can have both at the same time. But guess what? There is things that you can do and teach yourself. And I help people do that. You're welcome to reach out to me and book a call. We can talk about it. Maybe I can give you some little hints, some strategies to help you get to a point where it's been like me for about 5 years now, where I never have a bad day. Even this week that was absolute hell, feeling the loss of my pet, not having her beside me, not seeing her around the house, not, having to go out and take her out to the washroom and not having to feed her. All that stuff was eating me alive. And I had to work harder than I've ever worked to keep my mindset in the present and be positive and think about everything that she added to my life, the kids' life, and everything we added back to hers. But that's like that with humans too. I have had so many friends and family that have lost loved ones as of late that it is a struggle. Your heart hurts. And our mind has been so attuned to society's training for us to be negative or to think sad that we've never been taught to pivot our mindset in those bad moments to think differently. And I'm here to tell you it's possible, but I'm also telling you it takes a lot of work. And it's something that, like any habit, you have to work at and develop it. Just like any form of positive thing in your life, it takes work. And sometimes you can do it on your own. Sometimes you need a tribe of people to help you, a mentor, a coach, and that's okay. It's okay to need help to continue to live life on purpose and not by accident, and understand that life is in session. Again, this is not a dress rehearsal. We can't buy time back. It's one of the most precious things you have in your life. So those that you love, right? No matter what it is, whether it's a human or an animal, make sure that when you are spending time with them, you are present in the moment. You're conscious about spending time with them. You're conscious about giving them the stage. And what do I mean by that? When you give somebody the stage, they're communicating with you, you're hanging out with a group of people. That means that you are completely present in what they're saying, what they're doing, and you're engulfing yourself in all the joy that they can possibly give to your life, right? It takes effort again. If you love somebody and they love you, they deserve to have the stage when you're around them. That doesn't mean you don't have the opportunity to have the stage yourself when you're with them, or be the person that's the focus. But sometimes we get so engulfed in being the focus of every conversation, every outing, every family gathering, friend gathering, business gathering, whatever it is, that we're so focused on ourselves that we always want to be the shining light in the room. Guess what? You're missing memories. You're missing listening to people and actually building relationships and connecting with them. You need to realize that life is in session. This is not a dress rehearsal, means that you're living life right now. This moment that you're listening to me speak, you're living this moment. Are you present and listening to me? Or are you present in something else? And again, I'm not saying that you're going to be perfect. I'm certainly not perfect. I listen to podcasts or I listen to people communicating, and I'll say to them, if I'm listening to a podcast, obviously I can rewind it and listen to something again. If I'm listening to a book on Audible, I can rewind and listen to something again if my mind wandered, because that's life. And if you're present with somebody, never be afraid if you didn't quite hear what they said or your mind drifted, because we're human, to say, you know what? I drifted off for a second there. Could you repeat what you just said? It's better than just nodding your head and smiling and listening to somebody communicate with you something that's on their mind, whether it's the good, the bad, or the ugly, and you not be present to give them support when they were willing to share. Again, support doesn't have to be negative. It can be you laughing at somebody or chuckling or saying that's awesome, or being excited for them or happy for them, or if they need you to be sad with them. It all takes presence. It all takes you being connected and being a person that is putting others on the stage before you, putting what they offer to you first and foremost. That doesn't mean you sacrifice yourself. It just means that you are a person that realizes somebody is giving you their time. So give your time back to them, one-to-one, where you're connected, whether again it's individual or group. Be present. Your life will be so much better. And many of us are going to experience so much loss over the next year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, and realize that those loved ones, whether again it's friends, family, can be coworkers, it can be business partners, it can be clients that you care about. It doesn't matter. When you're with them, be truly present. You won't know if you've seen them, as I mentioned, 4 times last year, no matter who it is, that you're going to see them 4 times again this year. Or if they're your senior parents, elderly parents, and you see them only 4 times a year, they live 5 more years. Do you realize that's only 20 more times you're going to see them? Now, I don't want you to beat yourself up. What I want you to do is this to be a realization that maybe you need to work on having that purposeful life. And living life on purpose and not by accident does not come easy. It does not come cheap in regards to emotions, mental, right? It just doesn't. It takes effort for you to be connected to people. Yes, there's can be some hurt, some sorrow, some anger, some frustration, but with all that comes joy, comes happiness, comes excitement, comes some fabulous memories. You can't have one without the other, but work on the joy side, the happiness side, more so than letting the other, the negative, the tribulations, the trials engulf you. And really, I'm going to wrap this up with this. Again, don't forget, how many times have you seen specific people in your life and you go, such and such reached out to me and said, let's get together. And, and you know what? I'll see you next week. I'll see you next month. Do you know if you're going to have a next week or a next month? None of us do. So really sit back and think to yourself, I need to put more effort into spending time with the things, the people, everything that I love in my life. I need to put that effort in because I have no guarantee that I'm going to have another 4 times this year or next year, or how many years there's going to be. So every time I'm present with somebody or a group of people, whether again it's friends, family, or a combination of both or whatever, I'm always going to work my hardest to make sure I'm present, because I understand that life is in session. This is not a dress rehearsal. I need to put in work and effort to always keep my emotions and my mental mindset in check. And in order to do that, I need to create positive habits to ensure that I mostly have, bad moments in life, never bad days. Again, reach out to me. I'm easily accessible. Check out my website at giveaheck.com. You can go in and click and book a call with me, and maybe I can give you again some tools to put in your arsenal to help you live a more purposeful life. And again, I am not perfect. Been working on this. The difference between most of the people that listen to my show and myself is maybe I'm just a little bit farther in the journey of building the positive habits, and maybe I'm a little bit more grateful because I've had the opportunities and the input from mentors, from others, from the things that I read and listen to and ingest in my mindset have helped me to be a stronger individual, to deflect all the negativity of the world and what it offers. And I choose to live a day full of gratitude and gratefulness, because living a life on purpose and working always to be joyful and happy is what I think we all deserve and all really want. I thank you for listening to Give a Heck. If I had to leave you with one last closing message, like I tell all my guests, or ask, all my guests to relay, I guess it would be, my last closing message would to be kind. Be kind to everybody you meet, because the more kindness you give out, the more kindness comes back, the more you will be glad. Your heart will be glad, your mindset will be happy, and it's so much easier to be grateful and have gratitude for life when you're kind to others. I look forward to you listening to this episode again. Maybe you'll have drifted off in your mindset. That happens to me. I listen to podcasts sometimes more than once, segments of the podcast more than once, and hopefully you get some value from this. If you find value in any of my podcasts, I'd appreciate you leaving a review and ranking my podcast on the podcast platforms you listen to, or on my YouTube channel, Give a Heck. The more people respond and rank and review my podcast, the more that the services ensure others get it. So on that note, you can check out my podcasts at www.giveaheck.com. Go in the podcast portal button, and there's also a link in there as well for you to easily access and rank and review this podcast. I appreciate your time. I look forward to many, many more months and years of Give a Heck podcast, and hopefully you've been enjoying it up to now with the guests I've had on. And if you have any suggestions of people you'd like me to have on, or topics you'd like me to discuss, reach out to me. I am definitely open to the input. I look forward to talking to you soon. God bless you all. Peace out, and stay out of trouble. And by goodness gracious, stay safe.
Thank you for taking time out of your day and listening to Give a Heck. If you find value, I'd appreciate you sharing with your friends and family so they too can learn how to live life on purpose, not by accident. So you do not miss the next episode, please subscribe on your favorite podcast platform, and please also post a review. I look forward to reading your comments. This has been Dwight Heck. If you want to check out other podcast episodes or today's show notes, please check out my website, giveaheck.com. And until next time, together let us all strive to give a heck.